All you need to know is that when I get home from work, there's a good chance 3 minutes later, I'm running around the living room, talking like a robot, and attempting to eat their brains. They're screaming and giggling and hiding behind pillows and trying to convince me that they are not humans but statues and do not have brains.
Can we play Robot Zombie?
Beep boop bop.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of What's Your One Thing, the podcast where we celebrate the small acts we do each and every day that make a big difference. I'm your host, Jordan Hiller, and I am so excited to embark on this journey with you. In a world that's constantly demanding more from us, it's easy to overlook the simple things that bring us joy and fulfillment. But sometimes, all it takes is one thing to make us feel good inside and remember that we, and yes, I mean you, are a good person. And that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, we'll be diving into the little acts of kindness, generosity, and just overall goodness that listeners like you are doing each and every day that make this world we live in just a little bit better place. These stories can be as simple as playing with your kids, the little things you do that bring a smile to your face and others, or as grand as donating millions of dollars to a worthy cause. The point is, these moments matter. They remind us of our shared humanity and the positive impact we can have on one another. So for this first episode, let me share a little bit about why I started this podcast and what I hope to achieve with it. I spent the last 4 years going down the personal development / entrepreneurial rabbit hole. It's easy to get caught up in all the hustle and bustle of life, constantly being bombarded with thousands of strategies and what we should be doing to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. But this constant pressure can lead to an enormous amount of anxiety and eventually burnout. In order to be healthy, wealthy, and happy nowadays, it feels like you need to be up at 5 a.m., meditate for 40 minutes, fill out a page in your gratitude journal, don't forget to jump in the cold plunge, get sunlight in your eyes, and hit the gym for an hour, all before getting into the office at 7 a.m. Busting your butt until 4, and then you have to go home, try to have a social life, play with your kids, spend time with your partner, put time in with your side hustle or startup. And don't forget, you got to get 8 hours of sleep. It's absolutely crazy. Now, if you don't do all of those things, and you're a growth-minded person like myself, you start to feel like you're falling behind. Why haven't you started that business yet? Why don't you feel as connected to your partner or to your kids as you think you should? There's a million different ways to, quote, change and improve your life that we end up doing nothing because we're overwhelmed by all of the options. It's a lot to deal with. Enough to drive even the most positive and upbeat people to sink down into depression and feel like they are just not worthy of any of it. But that's not true. That's why I wanted to create a space where we can just slow down and focus on the things that truly matter. By sharing these stories, I hope to inspire you to look for opportunities to step out of your own head, even if it's just for a moment, and see that you are capable of doing great things. Even though you are not where you want to be right now, you are on your journey. Let these small stories be the building blocks that lift you up to your highest self. These little things will add up because sometimes happiness isn't about doing everything, it's about doing one thing that makes a difference. To kick things off, I'll share my own one thing. For the last few weeks, every day when I get home from work, my 2 daughters usually run into the kitchen and greet me with the most amazing leg hugs and smiles that would melt your heart. And if they're in a playful mood, the first words to come out of their mouths will be, "Robot zombie?" said with the cutest inflection on the end to enunciate the question. I'm not about to imitate my 2-year-old's adorable little voice, but I'm sure you can picture it. Now I hear you. You're asking yourself, what the heck is Robot Zombie? No one knows. Not even me. It was a game my oldest daughter and I started playing years ago, but I can't remember why. But that's not the point. All you need to know is that when I get home from work, there's a good chance 3 minutes later, I'm running around the living room, talking like a robot, and attempting to eat their brains. They're screaming and giggling and hiding behind pillows and trying to convince me that they are not humans but statues and do not have brains. These games can last anywhere from 2 minutes to over an hour if they catch me on a good day. But why does this matter? Well, it makes them so happy. And in turn, that makes me happy. And sometimes I even think about how they might play this game with their kids someday. It's such a staple in our house. I've even turned it into a bedtime storybook for our oldest daughter and gave it to her for her 5th birthday. Now, I might not be a lot of things, and I might not have started that business yet, but I know one thing, that I'm a good dad, and that's enough to keep me going. And now, I'd love to hear from you. What's your one thing? What small act of kindness or goodness have you done recently that just made you smile? Made you feel good inside? Doesn't have to be long or complicated. Just pull out your phone, record a voice note, and email it to what'syourone@gmail.com. That's the words what's your, the number one, the word thing @gmail.com. I'll be adding these recordings to future episodes and even inviting some of you to come on the show and talk about your experience. Remember, this podcast is about grounding ourselves and finding joy in the process of growth. It's a reminder that you don't need to do everything to be happy. Sometimes, one thing is enough. Before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this new adventure. I can't wait to hear your stories and share them with our growing community. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend or family member who might need a little reminder that one act can make a big difference and set them on the path to a beautiful new journey. Until next time, keep doing or even finding your one thing. I'll see you soon. Oh, and P.S. Let me know if you want a copy of I Think My Papa Might Be a Robot Zombie. I'll dig it up and send you a PDF version. Who knows? Maybe it could become a tradition in your home too. Alright, talk soon.
Ooh, good.
I'm going to eat your brains.